Greetings YouTube, JC, That Edit Pro, with a video about audio. Today we're going to talk about the Realistic Lab 2000 linear tracking turntable. This is an update to a video that I've already posted about this machine, but I was looking at that video this morning and I realized I was so excited that I got some things wrong. I recorded it the day that I got it. So today we're going to do it a little calmer and go over some of the features of the turntable. This is the first turntable that I've had since 1993, and it's the second one of these that I've had. I had one of these in the mid-'80s, which I traded away, and I always missed it. Now, in 1993, I got rid of all my records and was moving around a lot, so I didn't want to drag them around with me, and I thought that CDs were the happening thing. But since vinyl has made such a resurgence, it made me curious, and I decided I wanted to get me a turntable. And I said I wanted one of these, because this was probably the highest quality turntable that I ever actually owned, even though I had some pretty nice turntables through the years. And I was very fortunate and found one of these the day before Christmas and ordered it off of eBay. Originally, these machines sold for around $345, or maybe even more. I'd have to look at the Radio Shack catalogs to see, but this machine I got for $100, and I was extraordinarily pleased to find that it came with a Stanton P-mount L720E cartridge, which is probably the finest P-mount cartridge available today. And I don't need to tell you how wonderful Stanton cartridges are, because Stanton cartridges are the standard in radio stations, and DJs love them. As a matter of fact, when I worked in radio, I never saw a turntable with anything but a Stanton cartridge. So I was so tickled to have this one. Now, if you don't know about P-mount cartridges, the P-mount system is a system where the cartridge plugs directly into the tone arm, and then there's a bolt that you can bolt it in so it's secure. And the nice thing about P-mount is that you never have to worry about setting tracking force or anti-skate or aligning the tone arm to the cartridge, because that's already pre-programmed into the tone arm because the cartridges are standard. As a matter of fact, many years ago I used to get the adapters to put P-mount cartridges onto regular half-inch head shells. And I was just tickled to see that one, because I think that the Stanton L720E cartridge is the best cartridge out there for a P-mount turntable. And on top of that, I got me a replacement stylus. So if this one should break or wears out, we're good to go. So let's talk a little bit about the operation of the turntable. You have a power switch here, you have speed and size selector, and here is your strobe for setting the actual speed of the turntable. The goal is to get those lights to stand perfectly still on 33 or 45, depending on whatever you're playing. And then when you do that, you know it's on speed. As a matter of fact, I transferred a record to disk, and then put the disk in to the CD-ROM, and FreeDB found it. You know that goes off of time, so I know that the machine is perfectly on speed and matched up to the original recording perfectly, because the FreeDB identified the CD version of the album that I transferred simply because of the timing of the tracks. These are your transport controls. You start here with start-stop, and that's an automatic thing that moves the tone arm over and sets it down. This is a repeat button, Q for raising and lowering the tone arm, and this is how you move the tone arm across the platter. So let's go ahead and play a record, so you can see how the system works. Now, the linear tracking system has several advantages, and we'll talk about that after we give you a sample of the audio here.
Comedy and drama provided the warm family memories of those golden years. The dramatic punctuation that underscored our lives and helped to change the course of destiny came from the news bureaus of radio. To take you through those years in a kaleidoscopic living history, I've asked a friend of mine whose voice has been a welcome visitor into millions of American homes to take over. Frank Knight has been the voice of the Longines Symphonette for over 3 decades. And before that, his special vantage point as chief announcer for the Mutual Broadcasting System's flagship station, WOR in New York City, makes him uniquely qualified to recall with us the momentous and some not-so-momentous moments in history.
Boy, Jack, that's what I would call a run-on sentence. That's Jack Benny. This album is an album that came out back in the 50s, about the early days of radio. You get the general idea of how it works. And the linear tracking system is a system where the record is played exactly as it was cut. As you can see, the tone arm moves straight across the disc. And there is a servo-controlled motor in the tone arm that moves the stylus across the record exactly as with exactly with the pitch of the grooves. And so therefore there is very little force that's applied to the stylus. There is no skating force, so therefore there's no anti-skating mechanism. Also, the azimuth alignment with the stylus and the groove is always perfect, just like when the record was cut. And in combination with this very light tracking Stanton cartridge, the P-mount cartridges track at a standard tracking weight of 1.5 grams. And of course, that's all programmed into the tone arm, like I was saying before, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But this one actually tracks a little lighter. This tracks around 1 gram or so. And with all of that in place, the linear tracking system and the light tracking cartridge, this particular system is very gentle to records. I've got it sitting on a piece of foam here because it's living on the floor. You can just see it. Which is a trick that I've used for years with turntables. If you find that your turntable is being very susceptible to noise from when anybody touches the table that it's on, get a half-inch piece of foam, cut it to the right size, and set the whole turntable on. Of course, make sure that it doesn't make it, out of balance and not level when you do that, and that works nicely. So this is definitely my favorite audio toy, absolutely without a doubt. Of all the toys that I've gotten over the last year or two since I've started getting back into what they now call vintage audio, but what I just call good audio. It's a direct drive turntable. The actual motor is mounted right under here, and this is the armature of the motor. So there's no belt to worry about wearing out. I don't like belt drive turntables. I like direct drive. However, it does have a belt that runs this tone arm. The tone arm motor is right under here. I just found that out recently doing some research online, so I've ordered a belt. The one that's on here is in perfect shape, but I do want to have a replacement around in case the tone arm decides to stop working one day. And, of course, it came with the lovely 45 RPM adapter, and it will play 45s very nicely. You can close the top when you put the record on. As a matter of fact, the turntable usually lives a little further under the table here, and you do need to have an amplifier that has a phono preamp in it, as this one does, as this turntable and most of the P-mount cartridge turntables from the 80s that you will find put out a cartridge level output that needs to go into a preamplifier. A lot of the new turntables have line outs in them. I don't know whether I like that or not. I like to be able to choose my preamplifier because you can buy preamplifiers outside of a receiver like this, and you can get some very high quality ones. So anyhow, there it is. JC, Bad Edit Pro, waving bye-bye. It's the Lab 2000 Realistic Linear Tracking Turntable. We'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for watching.